Okay, we're back. Are we back?
We are back, yeah. Okay.
That's a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes when you hold something and you feel pain, then that prompts you to be more creative, how you're going to approach that.
Now that is actually a beautiful euphemism for something else I want you to talk about.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Absolutely.
I had an incredibly profound experience.
Oh yeah, that would be beautiful.
Driving out to our honeymoon. It started as we were heading down to Dover to get the ferry over to Calais. And there's a song, Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten. And years ago, I was with my dear friend Jodie, and I had just smoked a joint. And I came in and I felt very, very connected to Source, and I had this intense revelation, which is quite a beautiful thing to say right now, because we've just moved into 30 to 33 Gene Key, which is my purpose, and the city of that is revelation.
Yeah.
But my revelation was that I needed to write my story, that in some way, somehow, that was going to unlock my prosperity, and it was important that I do that. And I have shied away. I've sat down and tried to write it many times. It wouldn't flow. I couldn't figure out how to start it. And every time I heard that song, there's a lyrics in there that says, "This is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten." Mm-hmm. And every time I heard that, it was like this little reminder that I hadn't yet put my story down on paper. And as we're driving along towards Dover, the song came on the radio, the Bluetooth speaker. We hadn't selected it. It just came on. And the song landed a little bit differently, and it basically said to me, this right now, this journey, this is where your book begins. And so since we've been here, I have started writing my book, but this wasn't the bit that I wanted to talk about. It was Krzysiek's sort of talking about when you hold on to something tightly, it hurts. When we had left,
I didn't expect that to be connected. But yeah, that's the magic of life, right? And the adventure of life. You explore something, and all of a sudden it presents you with this beautiful gift,
Absolutely.
Out of the blue.
So at some point after we'd left Calais and before we reached Berlin, I was driving along, and the music sort of faded from my consciousness, as is often the case when I start going into thought. But this wasn't about my own mind wandering. This was because I was suddenly aware that there was a voice in my mind that wasn't my own. And as some of you may know, and some of you will not, nearly 7 years ago, I gave birth to twins very, very early. And my little boy, Noah, he died. And it was an incredibly traumatic and impactful experience, as you can imagine. And I have since made peace with his passing. I understand exactly why he came and what he gifted me. And as we were driving along, Noah's voice, which is an interesting thing to say because he didn't live long enough to learn to talk. So the voice that I associate with Noah in my head comes from his spirit, his soul. And he just started speaking, and he asked me to release him. And I was a bit confused at first. And I said, well, I've done that. Haven't I done that already? And he said, no, you haven't. You're still holding on really tight. And I did a little quick inventory as I'm driving, and realized that I had an incredibly tight grip on him. And he basically explained to me that he had concluded his soul mission as to why he came to me. He came to me to repair my connection to the divine masculine, and it extended to not just enabling me to heal myself, but it extended to me recognizing the divine masculine in this beautiful man beside me right now. And I do believe that in no small part, Noah brought us together. And as we're driving along, tears streaming down my face, Krzysiek's sort of, what's going on? And I said, I need to release Noah. And so when we got to our Airbnb in Berlin and got over the fear of being walked into a organ harvesting racket. I can explain that in more detail later.
Maybe we do separate podcast on our journey through across Europe,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And with a little bit more details. Yeah.
And after we'd christened our our room, I did a deep meditation whereby I released my grip on him and reassured all of the parts of myself that were very uncomfortable with that process. And it was a really, really, really beautiful experience. And interestingly, he didn't leave immediately. I felt him still quite strong, actually, right up until we got to Poland. And yesterday, I kept breaking glasses. I broke a very thick, heavy glass that realistically should not have been able to break in that. I don't know how it broke, but it broke. And I also managed to somehow shatter the coffee percolator jug. Still don't know how. And when I looked up the spiritual significance of this, there were lots of explanations. And as I was reading them and stood by the door, I looked up and realised that it was Noah saying goodbye. And I felt him leave. And it was a very surreal experience. And I felt a very deep sadness. But I also felt an enormous amount of relief. So, yeah, when you hold on to something too tightly, it hurts. And you need to learn to let it go.
Yeah, that was beautiful, baby. That's many people in the world that are grieving not only loved ones, but their own past, right? Like, unfulfilled dreams, expectations, maybe relationships, maybe something they thought they would achieve at some point in life, and it never happened for a variety of reasons. And that is energetic block. That is a massive energetic block when it comes to inviting into your life the energy of that life that is ahead of you, right? And all those dreams that you still have, maybe they will not happen in the same way you thought they would be. Yeah, that's it's a little bit like in Gene Keys there is, and in I Ching, which Gene Keys derived from, there is this 41st hexagram which begins the whole rave year of the 64 archetypes, and it speaks about fantasy and anticipation, and like the fantasy being just this mind trip, that you kind of like have something on the horizon, but you tight so close it, you grip it so tight in your mind that it can never be yours because you just put too much significance to it.
Energy flows. So any tension, any block, any attachment, it just prevents the flow of energy. And one of my favourite sayings, which is very poignant to this discussion, is that all the while you hold on to what is not for you, you delay the receiving of what is.
Absolutely. And again, circling back to what is for you and what is not, you can just feel it in your body, and whatever gives you that surge of energy, that enthusiasm in your heart, you can feel that expansion in your heart chakra, then that is definitely yours. And if something is just you will know when something is not yours, because it just comes from it only comes from your mind. It's been observed, it's borrowed from environment, it's borrowed from other people's dreams.
See, that's interesting you say that. You say that you'll know, but I've always struggled with that. And interestingly, referring to Gene Keys again, I'm line 6 in my body, which suggests that my body is very, very wise. It encompasses all the other lines. It's the sixth line is the last line before we move on to a different gene key. So the fact that I embody the line 6, it suggests that my body is incredibly wise. But I have always very much struggled to understand and appreciate what is not for me. And I've very, very much struggled to allow my mind to relax enough to see and listen to what my heart is telling me.
Yeah, and obviously it's colored differently for each of us, you know, and there is always that universal challenge of humanity, which is the mind, and the mind is always obscuring is just giving too much attention to details and not actually, you know, it's about, when I say you feel it in your heart, you feel the energy in your heart. So for example, you may not the details will be revealed as you trust that you follow. By following your intuition, you will go where you need to go. That's
what you say a lot, when it's easy is right.
Yeah, easy
I think
is right,
that is something that I could have done with understanding a lot longer ago. If it feels like you're trying too hard, if it feels like despite your best efforts,
you are in your mind.
You're in your mind. Easy is right.
Yeah, you know, because we live in the culture still that puts so much attention to hard work, you know, although it is changing. This paradigm is changing, but we still put so much attention and so much weight onto, you know, hard work, that without hard work there is no success. And what we are talking about here is
the opposite of that.
This the opposite. It is this remembrance that everything what is for you. Wow, that's a massive dragonfly.
Yeah, I've been watching the dragonflies for a while.
That is a massive one.
It was huge, wasn't it?
Yeah, talking about gene keys, and the symbol of gene keys is dragonfly. So interesting.
I didn't know that, actually. There's so many dragonflies out tonight.
That's the symbol of 55, which is the changing of times, you know, in 2027, when the solar plexus is the new children coming to the world with mutated solar plexus, that becomes the first center of command as opposed to the brain. But that's just the digression. So we are talking about this, what is natural for each of us, but as a society, we are enveloped with this massive misconception, energetic misconception, that we have to work hard, and that is kind of like everyone is contaminated with this idea, because all minds are connected, and so there is this hive mentality, and it's tricky to get out of this this bubble. But everything is, what is yours, because it just comes to you naturally. So if you are good at basketball and you enjoy that, not you are good because someone told you have to learn it, and then you learn and it turns out you are good, but you are good and plus enjoy that, then that is your thing to follow, and the same with, like I was talking in general terms, like for example, for you, you've always known that you love to write, you love the stories, you love reading, you have the affinity for written word and language, right? Like myself. So this is something that is, and obviously there are complications when we start thinking about, about how, and as opposed to just kind of like what's coming in the moment. I've been struggling with this lately, and it's kind of, my mind wants to know what is the structure, what is, how what is the form, whether that is poetry or that's like a so-called traditional storytelling or something, and I'm slowly realizing that it's all, and whether that
you don't have to pick one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my Gemini moon, the variety, and and as long as it's a sense of adventure in it, then then I'm up for it. And and in few fragments that I've written here, as we are in this beautiful house by the lake, I've written that the most important adventure to me is coming back from my mind to my heart. And interestingly, the purpose, as you were talking, is the CD of yours is revelation, and the CD of 12, which is my purpose, is purity. It's purity of heart.
Yeah.
So that's
And on that note, I think we're going to have to wind this up because I'm freezing.
Are you?
I'm really cold.
Oh my goodness.
Need to go back to the room and get the house and get nice and snuggly under a duvet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've cooked some nice rice with applesauce. Oh,
we're having pudding for dinner.
Yeah.
We're on holiday.
All right. So thank you for watching and see you in the next one, right?
Yeah. Sending so much love, guys. And sorry it's been so long between, but everything in divine timing.
Who knows? Maybe we'll record one tomorrow, or maybe not.
And if you have found anything in this that's been helpful or moving or touching, or if you'd like us to elaborate on anything, please do let us know in the comments. Sending lots and lots of love, guys.
Yeah, and also marketing sales from the heart, because we both feel that this message is apt and can help other people as well, as the energy of it helped us on our journey and to bring us together. We would love to ask you to share it with your friends and whoever you think may need this message, because we would love to spread our word as wide as is possible. And I personally don't care about the fame, and I don't think you do in this.
No, I just know for a fact with every fibre of my being that a big part of my role in this incarnation is to share the wisdom that I've accrued through my trauma and my healing journey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there will be something in this for someone, and that may be a person on your friend list. It may be somebody right now who's watching it right now, but please do share, because there'll be something in here for someone.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we are signing off from beautiful Mazure, and see you in the next one.
Ciao
Bye.
for now.